What is going on, guys? This is Nick with Teach All Tech Tuesdays, and this week we are doing the Echo Dot Google Home Mini Fight. I'm going to go through some of the capabilities both of them can do, a little bit of information about them, what my recommendation is for which to buy, just a general review of them, and we're going to do a little bit of a stress test and see how they do. So first, let's jump in it with the Google Home Mini. It's $49. You can get it from Google, Best Buy, Walmart, or Target. All you need is a Google account, so something like a Gmail or a YouTube account, and the Google Home app, and it's free on Android or iPhone, so you can download it there, and an internet connection. And the Echo Dot, so we've got the white unit here, and for the home, this is the black one, so it does come in a couple different colors. For the Alexa Dot, so it's $39. You can get it from Amazon directly. You can buy it from Best Buy or Target. Interestingly enough, Walmart is not carrying it because they directly compete with Amazon, so you will not be able to get it there. Just a fun fact. And to get it set up, all you're going to need is an Amazon account. It can be a free one. It doesn't have to be Prime. Whereas if you do get the Prime, it unlocks a lot more of the functionality for the device, so just something to keep in mind, but you don't have to have Prime. The Alexa app, which is free, you can download it on Android or iPhone, and again, an internet connection. So far, pretty similar. They need a smartphone with their version of the free app to control it. It needs an internet connection, and then it needs an account set up through them. The only main difference is that the Amazon Dot is going to be $10 cheaper at $39 instead of the Home Mini at $49. So let's go through some of their shared capabilities. So these are things that they can both do. It may be to a varying degree of success, but they can both do them. The commands for them, again, might be a little bit different, but they'll be able to carry out all the different things on this list. So for information, they can both give you weather updates. So you could say something like, Alexa, what's the weather today?
Incoming, there's a flood warning in effect until Tuesday, April 24th, 10:27 p.m. The current weather is 66 degrees Fahrenheit with cloudy skies. Today's forecast has showers, with a high of 67 degrees and a low of 52 degrees.
All right, and just so you guys know, I've got both of these on max volume. I want to make sure it's coming through nice and crisp for the audio. And you also get a little bit of a feel for the different quality of the speakers. So weather, both got that down. They also do traffic, finances, sports. This one will throw at Google. Okay, Google, what was the score of the Braves game?
Yesterday, the Braves played the Reds. The final score was 10-4 Reds.
Yikes. Okay, so we've got that down. News, shopping, so the Dot is going to do it through Amazon, and the Google will do it through Google Express. We've also got just general dictionary, thesaurus functionality, as well as fact finder. And this is one of the things that I think the Google Home does a little bit better of a job for because it is contextual, whereas the Echo Dot, you kind of have to be extremely specific and you have to use the right wording, otherwise it's not really going to understand what you're saying. Whereas I find that the Home Mini has a lot more leniency that way. So we'll ask them the same question and we'll see what their answers are for each. Alexa, which is faster, the leopard or the cheetah?
I'm still learning how to answer cheetah questions. Try asking tell me a cheetah fact for trivia.
Okay, so you can see she knew what we were talking about, but she couldn't give us the answer to the question we had. Maybe if we worded it a little bit differently, that might have worked better for the way she interprets it. But let's see what the Google Home Mini can do with the same question, same wording. Okay, Google, which is faster, the cheetah or the leopard?
On the website africafreak.com, they say, leopards rely on stealth. Cheetahs rely on speed over short distances. They are the world's fastest animal.
Okay,
leopards
Google.
have strong teeth.
Stop. Okay, awesome. So you can see it worked just fine on the Google. That's because, again, that's that context search. It works a lot better, I find, than the Dot. So if you don't know the exact command for something, or if you don't know exactly what you're looking for, then you can ask a more open-ended question and the Home Mini is going to figure it out. And that, again, powered by Google. It's really hard to beat that. I highly doubt that Amazon is using Google services for their information retrieval, so they're probably using something that's just not as good. I mean, there's a reason everybody uses Google for search. It's because it's the best at that. So, so far, I'm going to say +1 for the Home Mini. It answered the question that we had. And I know this is just a quick review, but over the time I've had to use it, I find that is pretty consistent. So it's earned that point fairly. And for the schedule, so they both got pretty powerful scheduling tools. They do reminders, they check your calendar, they can set alarms, they can set timers. So we'll put this to use real quick. Alexa, set a timer for 4 seconds.
4 seconds, starting now.
Okay, so it got what I said just fine. But it'll go off right here. Alexa, stop. So, I mean, that's pretty basic functionality. That's exactly how you'd expect, and it worked just fine. And now for this one, so my account is actually through Google, so I'm going to throw this one to them. Let's see what it can do. Okay, Google, what's on my calendar for Saturday?
Sure, Nick. On Saturday, there's only one thing on your calendar. It starts on Saturday at 10:15 a.m., and the title is Google Suite Part 1, Entertainment, Search, YouTube, News.
Awesome. So that the reason for that is my calendar is synced through Google, but also I did the voice match, the personal voice match setup, and that makes it so if I ask Google that question, it's going to know that it's me, and it will give me that information. But you might not want to have anybody being able to access your calendar. So like let's say if my mom were to ask it the same question, it's going to know it's not me. And it's going to ask me to ask the question so that it can give it the answer that it needs. So that's pretty cool. It's sort of like a light permission control on there, and it works well. So again, that's a pretty awesome feature. But I'd say they're about even for that. So I'll give +1 to each. Okay, entertainment. So they both do streaming music, no problem. They can stream video, radio, and audiobooks. So the main differentiator here, and this is sort of going to be a recurring theme here, is that the Google device is open to a lot more providers than the Amazon device, and that's on pretty much every front. The reason for that is because Google does have their own music streaming service called Play Music. They have YouTube, the world's biggest video site. But they don't have things like Netflix. They don't have things like Spotify. And the same is true for the audiobooks. So you can buy an audiobook from Google, but they know that there's also other companies like Audible, who is owned by Amazon, and they don't limit the providers you can use with their device, whereas the Alexa, it does. So for example, if I was to ask it to play a specific song, I'm going to need the Amazon Music subscription. So I can either pay for that, $10 a month standalone, or I believe it's included with Prime. I don't know off the top of my head. But that's the only specific music streaming service you can use. You can still use stuff like Spotify, Pandora for radio, just general listening to a type of radio, a certain artist, that kind of thing. But as far as specific songs and doing things like searching for like just a specific album you want to listen to, you have to have the Amazon Music. Whereas with Google, it works if you have a premium Spotify account, or if you've got the premium Pandora, which is just radio, but it works with Play Music as well, which is their service. So if you have YouTube Red, which is $10 a month as well, then you'll be able to do that specific song requests and that sort of thing through them. Now for video, this one, Amazon is losing this one pretty bad because the only service you can use for video as of now, so it's April 24th, 2018. As of now, the only one you can use is Prime Video, which means, again, you have to be a Prime customer and you can only use their service. So Google, they went the opposite way with this. They said, yeah, we have Play Movies, but we understand that there's a lot more to streaming. So you can use Netflix with your Google Home. You can use HBO Go. You can use CBS, Red Bull TV, Crackle, and they're always adding providers. So that's just the list right now, but it's expanding. And Amazon has sort of, they've taken the Apple route here with the closed garden, and they're only letting you use their service. So that's something important to keep in mind. which of these platforms are you more vested in? If you're a Prime customer, you're probably, this is not a problem for you. But if you don't pay that $100 a year, then you might be leaning towards the Google at this point. And the same is true for the audiobooks even. So again, Amazon, it has to be bought through Audible. Again, their own service. But Google, you can actually stream the audio from Audible to your Google Home Mini, or you can do the Google Play Bookstore. So again, they're more open than Amazon on this. Not a surprise. So smart home functionality. So they've both got really great smart home integration, doing things like smart thermostats, light bulbs, smart plugs, doing things like controlling lamps, controlling TVs, that sort of thing. This is one place, though, that I'm actually going to give, the last round also +1 for Google for being open to more providers. So we're at 3-1 here. As far as the smart home goes, I'm going to give the Echo point on this to bring it up to 3-2 because they have integration with a lot more devices and more brands because they've been out longer. Whereas the Google Home, it only works with the top brands, things like the Philips Hue, the LiFX, light bulbs, TP-Link, smart plugs, Nest, Honeywell, that sort of thing. So if you're going for the more higher end, those top name brands, you won't have a problem with either. But if you're looking for stuff that, it's brand new or it's not like a really big supported thing, the Dot is probably going to be your bet there. So just something to keep in mind. And also, thanks to a recent update from Google, now both devices can connect to a Bluetooth speaker to stream the audio. So I've got a UE Boom, and they can both connect to it and use that as the audio output. So if you're looking for something a lot louder, better sound quality, or if you just want to set it up in another place in your room, that sort of thing, then you can connect it to a Bluetooth speaker as well, no problem. Okay, so let's get into a little bit of the exclusive capabilities for each of them. So I already told you guys about how Google is the only one who works with the streaming companies, Netflix, HBO, YouTube, that sort of thing. But another thing to keep in mind is the Google Home only casts to a Chromecast or a Chromecast audio, which means if you want to use those providers and play them on your TV or on a projector, that sort of thing, you're going to need the Chromecast dongle, which I think you can get them anywhere between $30 and $50. There's first gen, second gen, either of them work just fine. But if you want to cast the video or cast the audio with Chromecast audio, those are going to be the only two devices you can use. Another thing that the Google Home does that the Echo Dot will not be able to do is integration with your phone if you have an Android, or integration with your tablet if it's Android. So this is something, if you have an iPhone, you can just skip over this part, but if you're Android, so obviously Google owns Android, right? And they made it so you can control your phone from your Google Home just by talking to it and asking it to do something like turn off the Wi-Fi. You can tell it to set the alarm on your phone. You can change, to silent, to the ringer, any of those things. So it's kind of basic right now, but they're always improving and updating these, so you'll be able to do more with it in the future. However, if you are looking for that Android integration, obviously the Google Home is going to be your best bet. And then one more thing that the Google Home only does, again, is context. So it understands context much better than the Amazon Dot. It's just, I don't know if it's because Google is a lot better at search or if they just spent a lot more time developing this than Amazon, but the context works much, much better. So let me show you guys just an example of this in action. Alexa, what's the capital of Honduras?
Honduras' capital city is Tegucigalpa.
Awesome. Alexa, how many people live there?
The population of Honduras is about 8,100,000.
Alexa, how do I get there from here?
Currently, traffic on your commute looks good. The fastest route takes about 59 hours 45 minutes via I-65 and I-10.
Okay, awesome. So Amazon, you can see it picks up on those follow-up questions. But again, the context, It's just a little bit better on the Google Home. So if you ask it something a little bit more open and not as specific, or if you don't know the commands, it's just going to work better with the Home, and they're both always being updated. So it's not like Amazon can't add this later on in a software update, but it's just a lot better on the Home. So we'll ask it the same questions. Okay, Google, what's the capital of Honduras?
Tegucigalpa is the capital of Honduras.
Okay, Google, how many people live there?
Its population was 1,190,230 as of 2015.
Okay, Google, how do I get there?
The best way to get to Tegucigalpa by car is via I-10 West and will take about 2 days and 6 hours in light traffic. You can see the full directions on your phone.
Okay, cool. So that's one of those things. If you have maps on your phone, it'll just directly send you a notification that if you tap that, it'll take you into maps with the destination and your current location already loaded up on there. Then you just hit start. So it makes it real easy. And again, I really like the context on the Google Home. I think it's just better, just flat out better. So let's get to the Alexa Dot. So some of the capabilities that only the Dot can do. Streaming from Prime Video and Prime Music. Again, so you won't be able to use these on the Google Home, but this is all you can use on the Alexa Dot. So just something to keep in mind. Excuse me. If you're not a Prime customer, you're not going to be able to get the most out of this device. So that's just a really big theme here. You need to pay that extra $100 a year or cheaper if you're a student, that sort of thing. Otherwise, you're just not going to get the most out of your device. And just like how the Google Home only works with the Chromecast, the Dot only works with the Fire Stick. So if you want to cast it to your TV, you got to go buy a Fire Stick. I think those are $40. It's the same thing. So they're redirecting you to their own service, and it's very apparent. Same thing is true with the Amazon integration. So let's say if I wanted to place an order, I'm going to have Prime. So again, recurring theme here. But if I want to place an order for something, I can just do it directly using my voice. I can ask Alexa to do it, and then if it's something I've previously ordered, I can just ask her to reorder it. Or if it's something new, then she sort of asks you a couple questions, but you'll be able to just order something using your voice, which is cool. Again, you gotta be a Prime customer. If you're not Prime though, you can still track your packages by just asking it, Alexa, where's my stuff?
I didn't find any open orders for Nick.
Okay, cool. And that's true. So she got that one right. And then another thing cool about the Dot is you can buy a voice remote. So you could be sitting somewhere away from your Alexa and just hold down the voice button on your remote, and then you'll be able to talk to her without being right next to her. So I think those are $30. They're pretty cool, just something unique, kind of wacky, but it's still just a cool feature to have. And the Google Home does not have one of those as of now. One more thing that's going to be a Dot only is on the back of the Dot, there is a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. Let me flip this around so you guys can see. There is a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, and that means that you can just plug this into a wired stereo if you don't have a Bluetooth one, or if you just want to connect it to better speakers, that sort of thing. You can just use a 3.5 millimeter, an aux jack, just a standard aux jack, and you'll be able to connect it to a bigger set of speakers. So we've gone through the whole rundown now. Let me just give you guys the bottom line on both of these. So the Echo Dot, it's a little bit cheaper, 40 versus 50, and it supports more accessories because it's been out longer. So if you're looking to save a little bit of money, and if you want to do a lot of the smart home functionality, and you really want to be on the cutting edge and using all the latest stuff there is, you're going to want to go with the Dot. And another recommendation as well, if you are a Prime customer, just go with the Dot. I mean, you're going to be able to utilize so many more services because you are willing to pay that $100 a year. So if you're already in the Amazon ecosystem, especially if you're using Prime, and the smart home thing is sort of the main draw for you, I'm going to recommend the Dot, and you'll be able to save $10 while you're at it. Now, if you want something that, in the words of Steve Jobs, just works, then you're going to want to go with the Home Mini, because to me, it's worth that extra $10. Not only do you get a louder and much more clear speaker, but you get better context because you can ask it a little bit more open questions. And to me, the Home is just smarter. It understands what I'm saying 10 times out of 10. I really don't have any problems with that. Whereas with the Alexa, sometimes it says she can't understand, she doesn't know how to help me yet, that sort of thing. So I find just for a better experience overall, and especially if you're going to be doing the music, or if you're wanting to integrate, with a Chromecast, that sort of thing, go with the Google Home Mini. And the same is true if you have Google services, if you're paying for YouTube Red, for Play Music, if you have an Android phone, if you have an Android TV, any of those things, you're going to just want to stick with the ecosystem, go with what's already integrated with it and working well. So that's my main review and recommendations on them. So they're both great devices. I really recommend trying one out. You can always return it if you don't like it, and they're pretty cheap. So if you're interested with the whole virtual assistant, smart speaker thing, if you're interested in the smart home, if you're trying to do anything like that, then I'm definitely going to recommend trying out at least one of them. And if you don't want to buy it, you probably have a friend that has one. So just find someone who has one, try it out, ask them what they think about it, and then go ahead and buy one. Set it up real quick. Both of them, you can get them set up in less than 10 minutes on your Wi-Fi at home, and then you're off to the races. So they're both great devices, and I would recommend them to a friend, being a nerd. So I think they're awesome, but even if you're not as interested in tech, I'm sure you're still going to like them. They're just cool, they're fun, and they're cheap. So try it out. That's all we got for this week's Teach All Tech Tuesdays. This is Nick Roth logging off. Thanks.